8.3. These are the protocols for the tests that I conducted. These are the reasons why testing shouldn't take place. The reasons why I chose the yo-yo test. The validity of this test is low compared to the gold standard test. However, there is a study that shows that there is a positive correlation between the gold standard test and the yo-yo test. So results I get are not completely accurate, but are close enough to the gold standard. But my client is not an elite athlete and doesn't need perfect results, as he doesn't play to a high standard, and his improvements that he makes regarding the tests are purely for his own benefit and well-being. So therefore, that's one of the reasons why I used the yo-yo test. The yo-yo test is beneficial for my client because it tries to replicate a game-like situation in a team event, and this is why I chose this test instead of another indirect test like the Harvard STEP test, as the ecological validity is high because this test suits my client as he plays football. So the test is designed so that the athletes run at different intensities as they would in a game. I also chose the yo-yo test because of its practicality, as it doesn't cost any money to conduct and doesn't involve any complicated equipment, and it wasn't complicated for my client to follow. In addition, it has the different levels, so I chose level 1 as my client is a beginner and hasn't done fitness testing before. I also picked this test as there is normative data to compare my client's results to. So I know where he needs to improve and what he needs to maintain in accordance to the average result for his age and gender. The reliability of this test is high, which is good because the results I collect will benefit my client, as he will know where he needs to improve because the test is standardized and there is very little room for human error. The reasons why I chose the Illinois Agility Test. I chose this test because the validity of the test is high, and as a result, the test will give me accurate results from my client. But also, I feel the test replicates situations in football, so like sprinting, but then having to dodge in and out of the opposition to get free for the ball. The test has normative data, which then I can compare my client's results to, so that I can see where he needs to improve in relation to this data. I chose the test because of the practicality of it, as it is easy to set up and doesn't have any complicated equipment. In connection to this, the reliability of the test is high because the test protocol is standardized, which means that the test is easy to conduct and easy for my client to follow. So that is another reason why I chose the test. Why I chose the 1-minute setup test for muscular endurance. I chose the 1-minute setup test to test my client's muscular endurance because of its suitability in regards to where it measures muscular endurance on the body. I feel that it is important for a footballer to have good core endurance, as throughout a football match, an athlete has to engage their core for a variety of things, such as keeping their balance if they are getting tackled, or when landing after they have been up for a header, and in other situations too. This is why I didn't choose the 1-minute press-up test, because I feel that core endurance is more vital to a footballer than the muscular endurance in their shoulders and arms, because apart from when you collide with an opposition when trying to get the ball, you usually use core strength instead of muscular endurance in your shoulders. The validity of the test is low compared to the gold standard test, but the reason why I chose this test is because of the practicality of it. It is easy to conduct and easy for my client to follow and to do. There is no complicated equipment. Also, there is normative data. Therefore, I can compare my client's results to this data and see where he needs to improve in relation to the data for his gender and age. The reasons why I chose the 30-meter sprint. I chose the 30-metre sprint purely based on the practicality of the test, as I didn't have access to the equipment for a more direct test, such as speed gates. However, it does have its benefits as it is easy to conduct and my client knew what he was doing as the protocol is standardized. Also, there isn't a speed test that has a high ecological validity. Therefore, this test just measures the time it takes for my client to cover a certain distance, but this can be suited to a footballer as the test could replicate my client making a sprint into the box or down the sideline. Another reason why I chose this test is because it has normative data, so I can compare my client's results to this normative data and see where he needs to improve or what he needs to maintain. The reason why I chose the vertical jump test, but to measure it with the vertical jump test mat. I chose this test mainly based on the suitability relating to my client's sport. I chose it so that I could test the power in his legs so that he can improve this or maintain this and apply the power when he's going for headers in football. The vertical jump test I used was the mat that measured the client's results. This type of vertical jump test has higher validity than the test where you put a mark against the wall, because with this test there's no room for human error. Also, there is normative data, so I can compare my client's results to the data and adjust my recommendations according to this. I also chose this test because its reliability is high, as the protocol is standardized, and I can trust the results. Another reason why I chose this test is because of its practicality. There is a minimal cost to the test and the equipment isn't very complicated. My client didn't have to know and familiarise himself with the test before, so it was a quick and easy process to record the results. The sit and reach test for flexibility. The reason why I chose this test is because of its suitability. I wanted to test my client's flexibility in their hamstrings and lower back, as I feel that it is important in football to have flexibility, because then my client would be able to extend his leg to its maximum without causing himself an injury, and also he will be able to generate more power to the ball if his leg is fully extended. Another reason why I chose this test is because my client is not an elite athlete. Therefore, the validity of the test doesn't need to be as high as the gold standard test, because I don't need to localize his flexibility by using a machine, as this information would not be helpful to him. However, there is normative data, so I can compare his results to see where he needs to improve to help him improve his performance in football. The practicality of the test is high, as there is not complicated equipment and the protocol is standardized, so my client didn't find it difficult to carry out the test. That is another reason why I chose the sit and reach test. These are the results I collected from testing.